when you let students take some of that control. That's when the real learning happens. Hi, my name is Corinna Low, and I teach at Westborough Middle School in South San Francisco. I am a 7th grade science teacher and also the department chair for science department. And I am inspired, or I was inspired to take action on sustainable and climate resilient school efforts because I saw firsthand how we weren't really practicing what we were preaching, right? Like in science, we have these focuses on environmental science, and at school, we're seeing single-use plastics being used daily. We see tons of paper towels being thrown into landfills in the bathroom. We see just food waste issues, rampant food waste issues. And I just kind of took a look around and saw that we really needed to make changes to teach the kids that, what we're doing at school also matters, right? Not just what we're doing at home, but school is supposed to be an institution for education, and we need to, as educators, practice what we preach. I guess in participating in the Solutionary Teacher Fellowship, it really gave me a place to learn and grow as an educator. I feel like there's so little time during the school year where you can really just sit down and focus on making your curriculum even better. You're just trying to make sure that you hit all the standards and you are giving lessons that are impactful. But you really don't have time to sit down with people or teachers who have similar passions for environmental science, or just reflect and make truly meaningful units. Sometimes you have these really great lessons here and there, but you don't really have the time to come up with an entire unit that is thoughtful from start to finish. And the Solutionary Teacher Fellowship connected me with a network of these dream teachers, and we were able to have access to a team of knowledgeable and passionate facilitators who not only just supported us, but they were always able to give us any resources that we may need. So I think that the Solutionary Teacher Fellowship was really a treasure trove of resources and just networks of people who can help you create curriculum that you're really proud of and really passionate about. I would say that some of the challenges were just carving out time to planning with my team members, and maybe also creating lessons that were just more detailed than I normally would have made them. I think when we create lessons for ourselves, we kind of know what we want to say, so we don't write it all down. But when you work with a team and these are lessons that everyone has to teach, you really have to make sure that you have all these details so anybody could follow it. And I think that even though these are considered challenges, I feel like there were really more opportunities. And that's part of your other question, right? Like, what were some of these opportunities that came up? So these challenges really were hidden opportunities to make myself a better teacher and to make sure that my curriculum was better. So in looking back over the last 3 years of participating in the Solutionary Teacher Fellowships, I'm really proud of the personal growth as an educator. I feel like I went in as a totally different teacher, and I feel like the teacher I am today is much better, and I can keep getting better. And I think that is one of the most valuable lessons that I have come out with, like knowing that I'm not done learning and growing. There's plenty more to learn and plenty more room for growth. But the curriculum that I've worked with my team on creating, you know, that's like my favorite. It's like been my favorite curriculum to teach out of the last 16 years I've been teaching. Right? Like it says something when you're excited to go to school every day because you want to teach what you're supposed to be teaching. And I don't think that I've ever felt this way about curriculum until I became part of this Solutionary Teacher Fellowship Program years ago. And for 3 years now, I've gone into school energized and enthusiastic and just really excited about what we're going to be learning today. One of the perks of being in the Solutionary Teacher Fellowship was that they taught me strategies for helping students process all these different emotions that are going to come along with talking about things that are just very anxiety producing or anger provoking. And I think that hitting these tough topics is really important because I think that's where you're going to get the most effective lessons. Helping students make connections between why we're learning these topics and their raw emotions that come along with covering these topics. I think that connection is key in their understanding of the importance of scientific knowledge and scientific literacy. It's just helping them become better global citizens. And I feel like there's a lot of power in tapping into emotions in education. And I feel like in the past, I often shied away from it, as I think a lot of teachers do, because you don't know what you're going to get when you tap into people's emotions, right? It's very unpredictable. And as teachers, we like to have control over the time and where we're going and like the end goal, right? But I feel like when you let students take some of that control, that's when the real learning happens. And the solutionary units are only really effective if the students care about the problem, providing them a safe place to process their feelings and helping them see that with science, we have the power to make changes, make positive changes. I think that's what makes the solutionary unit an effective project. And that they are picking problems that they are passionate about, right? Like if you care about something, then you want to learn and you want to see, you want to produce something that is going to be impactful. So the solutionary unit was really a very meaningful and effective way of getting through the science curriculum, the NGSS standards. You know, how many times have we given an assignment where they just didn't care and they just did it for the grade, or they just did it because they had to? Very rarely do you have these opportunities, or very rarely in traditional education do you have these opportunities where kids want to do something because they care about it. And because you've tapped into that emotional side of the science curriculum, you have that buy-in and you have that level of engagement that you normally might not have. For our solutionary project, we had the students either take on the role of an activist or take on the role of an engineer. So as an activist, they had to take action of some sort, right? Like organize some sort of change at school, write a letter to a leader that might inspire some positive changes. As an engineer, they had to come up with a design solution to a current problem. And I know that for the kids who took on the activist role, the ones who received responses for their letters, or they they heard back from the principal or they heard back from the superintendent. They were super excited, and they saw that there is power in their voices. And I think that that is a lesson that they're going to take with them forever, right? Like they're going to know that if I reach out, maybe somebody will listen. And even if they don't respond the first time, maybe I keep trying, right? And I think that they take this power with them as they go on. And they see that, okay, there are some things at school that could be better, and they see that they can do something about it, right? Like they can reach out to the principal, they can reach out to the superintendent, they can identify these problems and suggest feasible solutions to them. And I think that that is one really powerful change that I have seen. I guess I will definitely keep continuing with my environmental science education. There's always so much to learn, and there's so many new innovations that just constantly keep coming up, and I've got to keep on top of that. I think that part of being in the Solutionary Teacher Fellowship, um, one of the another perk of being in it was that it reminded me you can't just focus on a textbook and just keep going from that, because science is constantly changing, right? Like there's a lot going on in terms of innovations and policy, and you have to keep abreast of all of these current events. So I feel like I gotta keep learning to be a better science teacher. I feel like I will probably continue to work with my Planeteers Club and the school compost club and our recycling clubs to see if we can make some more changes, because there's a lot of work to be done, right? We see that there's still issues with single-use plastics. We see that there's still a lot of food waste, and I know that like the kids in the club, they want to make things better. So I know that we have a lot of work to do and like at our own school. So we'll work on that. And yeah, maybe don't hesitate. Jump right in. There's nothing to lose by joining the Solutionary Teacher Fellowship, and there's so much to gain. You're getting paid to be a better teacher. You're gaining access to resources and a community of like-minded teachers. You're coming out with a unit that's aligned to NGSS and EPNCs. You have a unit that you actually love to teach. Like, who could say no to that? It's a place where you're learning, you're having fun learning, you're meeting all these other people from all over the Bay Area, all these other teachers who have all these resources that they bring with them and all these great ideas. And you just have a time and a place to create curriculum that you really, really love. So what's not to like?